Welcome, everybody, to the first edition or the first episode of 2021 of Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Adam Freeman in Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Brees is in Brentwood, Tennessee, in the beautiful suburbs of Nashville, Tennessee. Big day for Tennessee Titans. We'll get Paul's input on that. That game just ended momentarily about 10 minutes ago. Couple games still going, or actually I think all the games, the early games are over now. So playoff picture, with the exception of I think the last game tonight is Washington and Philadelphia, and that's going to determine I think the winner of the East, which is the lone spot left, and who travels and that sort of thing in NFC. But we do know, Paul, that we've got the AFC picture in mind already. We've already got that nailed down, and that's going to be interesting because you've got the Chiefs, which obviously have the lone bye this year, and the Colts travel to Buffalo. Now, the Colts are longtime rivals of the Titans, but this Colts team, man, they're pretty good. They can run the football, and they got a good defense. Do you think they have any shot at beating the Bills in Buffalo?
It depends which Josh Allen shows up. The 2019 Josh Allen, sure, they got a shot. The 2020 Josh Allen, probably not. But I do think the Colts are going to give it a pretty good game because their defense is pretty good. The run game does keep Josh Allen off the field, and as much as I hate Phillip Rivers, Buffalo's the one team, right? When you go into a tournament, there's always that one team that don't want to play. And right now it seems to be like the Buffalo Bills. So anybody that can beat that one team, that would be great as a Titans fan.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bills they're so hot right now that nobody wants a piece of them, and you can't blame them for being that way and for looking at it that way. They put 56 up today against the Dolphins in a game that you and I both thought, are they really going to be motivated to play this game? They've already got, they can't drop any lower than 3, and the difference between 2 and 3 is pretty negligible. But dude, they went out there, balled out, and I think Josh Allen set a season record for yards in a season for a Buffalo quarterback, passing Jim Kelly. Just amazing what they're able to do. You got John Brown back from injury. He had a big day. You got him. You got Moss. You got the Montgomery guy running the football. And Isaiah McKenzie had a touchdown. Their defense is getting better, almost looking like the defense did last year. That's going to be a really intriguing game to start wild card weekend in the AFC. Then you get your next game is the Browns and Steelers, who they played today. You basically had the Steelers' second string, right?
Right. Josh Dobbs even played quarterback.
Oh wow! So and they lose to Cleveland by 2.
Yeah.
But again, this is another one of those games where I don't think it mattered really who won. They were both in. But man, if you're Pittsburgh, you're going into the playoffs losing 4 of your last 5. That's not you have zero momentum as the Steelers right now. And you got a Browns team that's the last time they got in the playoffs was like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
Like 96, I think. So that organization's fired up, that city's fired up, and the Steelers, they got to get it together, man. So that's going to be interesting to see. It is in Pittsburgh, but again, man, with COVID, home field means nothing.
No.
It really means absolutely nothing. And dude, I don't know that the Titans could have drawn a more difficult wild card game than the Ravens coming to the Titans, because they're on fire too. They're 11-5, Titans are 11-5, and Lamar Jackson is again playing like the Lamar Jackson we thought he would. that we thought that he would play like. They've got a dynamic running game, pretty good defense. Of course, they played Cincinnati to get today, which is pretty anemic offense, only gave up 3 points, but they seem to be like they're hungry and they're going to want revenge for last year. What do you think about that?
Or revenge for this season where we beat the Ravens in overtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, I'm sure they are both looking at their last year, and it's I'm a little nervous. I think our defense is definitely they're going to have to find some kind of defensive magic. I mean, listen,
it's
people
bad.
are asking what's wrong with the defense. Here's what's wrong with the defense. You can't put pressure on the quarterback, which leaves the linebackers vulnerable because they're not our best linebackers hurt. And the secondary, who thank goodness got Adoree Jackson back. But the problem is he's not getting help over the top with Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard has become a no-show. He got his money, he's paid up. And now the guy is not to be found when you need him the most.
Well, and here's the thing. You can't cover for more than 4 seconds.
Not in the NFL.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't cover for more than 4 seconds in high school. When you're doing that in the NFL, when you're giving a guy 4 to 6 seconds to throw the ball, and his name's Deshaun Watson or really any NFL caliber quarterback, you're going to be in serious trouble. So I think the AFC playoff picture, it's going to be a great weekend next weekend for all these games. Great matchups. You talk about it. It's not just the matchups of the teams. It's the matchups of the individual positions. O-line versus D-line, receivers versus secondary. And like you said, if it just seems like the Titans secondary gets picked on, but they get picked on because they can. I mean, because that's what you do. You look for weaknesses. And it just happens to be a huge weakness right now for the Titans. And you just hope they can shore it up and figure out a way to keep that Ravens offense off the field for as long as they can. And the way you do that is you just pound it with Derrick Henry about 25 to 30 times a game. And every now and then you sneak little Ryan Tannehill out on a bootleg, which he did twice today for touchdowns. And that was huge. So, I just finally saw how it ended.
Okay, let me tell you something. I usually am watching the game either by myself. It just so happens my son from college is in town, big Titans fan. So he was here. So he would come in and out. And, when things get serious, he was going on a run during the first quarter. I was like, dude, you're leaving? He goes, yeah, it doesn't really matter till the second half. I'll be back. Lo and behold, he was correct. I had the whole squad pretty much, campfired around the TV and an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs in a matter of a minute and a half.
Because it was 24-9 at one point.
Yeah.
And they were in complete control.
Henry fumbled.
It was the fumble that kind of turned everything.
Yeah. And then what may or may not have been shown on ESPN was that Mike Vrabel went for it on 4th and 11 from about the 50-yard line.
What was the score at this point?
It was 10 points.
31-21.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't convert, obviously. I think Tannehill may have gotten sacked. I can't remember. I immediately texted.
Yeah, he texted me.
And I was like, why is Vrabel going for it on 4th and 11 from the 50? I know he's quote unquote the riverboat gambler, the players coach, but
holy cow,
yeah.
With everything on the line, he's doing it.
This guy, he would have definitely taken some heat if they would have definitely lost because of that. But I'm telling you right now, we had let's see, we sacked Deshaun. We kicked off after we scored. And Deshaun Watson has to go the length of the field. They have to have a touchdown. They're down by 4. We kick off, Adam. They get a holding penalty on the kickoff, so they start at the 10-yard line, right?
Oh, wow.
Again, I talk about their own 10-yard line, and you talk about the 4-second in the pocket rule. Deshaun Watson had days. My wife goes, that guy kind of looks like Steve McNair. Well, let me tell you something. The guy legitimately played like Steve McNair today. He hit a little. He got in trouble and tossed it out to the running back on the run. Gain of about 40, and all of a sudden they're at the 50-yard line. I mean, we had him like dead to rights.
Yeah.
And
then Kuti gets behind the defense and sets. I mean, that guy. What is he jumping for? Like it amazes me like how quickly how uncoordinated some of these guys look, and you're like, oh, that's why he's playing defensive back, because I mean he jumps like 3 seconds too soon, and it's like what are you doing? And then it drops right in the guy's arms, and boom, you're in field goal range.
Yeah, let me tell you about the field goal kicker the Titans picked up.
Yeah, where's this guy from?
Okay. Regular kicker Steven Gostkowski on the injured /COVID list. So they find this guy. I couldn't even tell you I don't even know his name.
Sully or Sloman.
He is 23 years old, and he kicked out of Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, the Red Hawks. The Red Hawks.
My son has a text in to a buddy that attends Miami of Ohio to see if he's even heard this guy. My wife commented when he was jogging on the field, he looks like he's about to cry. And I thought when Romeo Crennel called that timeout and he kicked it straight through, I go, that's not good. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? I said, kickers, they kicked the first one through after the timeout.
Oh, yeah, it's usually bad. Oh, yeah.
And, lo and behold, 23 years old. That's the same age as my oldest son, who is not living in my basement. But here's what I did tell her. I said, if he misses this, guarantee you he will have to walk home or Uber or somehow find his own way home, because they will not let him on the plane.
They'll be like, sorry, man, you're cut. You're going to have to find your own way back to Nashville. Wow. I mean, what a moment for him, though. Just crazy stuff. But, you know, that's the kind of year it's been. I mean, you've had guys having to step up. You know, and that's, you know, normally right now we would transition and talk about some bowl games between you know, our Kentucky bowl games and our Tennessee bowl games, but Tennessee's bowl game got canceled.
Well, the bowl game did not get canceled. Tennessee opted out because of COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Reason.
Yeah, what's
Army took the place.
Okay.
And they got beat by West Virginia, I think.
Yeah, they did.
It was in the Liberty Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I do want to mention, Adam. Since we're still on the NFL thing, I want to talk about, in just a minute, I want to talk about the NFL draft and its prospects. One, after the showing of the Miami Dolphins, after their chips, they're all in, right? They win, they're in the playoffs against the Buffalo team. Tua comes up blank. 3 interceptions. I mean, he was like 28 for 47, but his average yards per pass was like 4.8. I mean, it was pretty.
He threw 3 picks too.
And so what my question to you is Tua the guy? Is Tua the guy?
Well, it's funny you asked that, because he was actually asked that question and he had a really good answer. He said, you know, that's not really, he goes, that's not my decision. He goes, all I can do is do what I can do in the off season, work with my teammates to get better, you know, running routes together, because they didn't get any of that this year. And, you know, not to make an excuse for him, but they didn't have a full training camp. They couldn't get together and, you know, run routes with the receiving core and stuff like that. So not only was it his rookie year, it was, I mean, the first time that anybody caught a pass from him was in August. And what's a lot of people don't understand is that catching a pass from a left-handed quarterback, the ball spins the opposite way. I know that sounds obvious, but you have to learn how to catch that football differently. Okay, so there is a learning curve. And honestly, I mean, if your other choice is Fitzmagic, I mean, The guy's played for like 18 teams. Now, he has flashes where he's unbelievable, right? And that he did, he had that in Miami a couple times and in Buffalo and New York and wherever he's been. He's played some crazy, for Tampa Bay, 400 plus yards passing. But I think drafting Tua last year, yes, I think he's the guy moving forward. The Miami ownership, the Miami community, they're all in. They're in the middle of the table. They're all in on Tua. And honestly, I think it's the right choice. He didn't have his first start until like the fourth or fifth game of the year. And he took him to the brink, man, where, they didn't have a great game today, but look who they played, man. They played at Buffalo, who could be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. They got boat raced by 4 touchdowns, but I mean, he didn't play his best, but he led the Miami Dolphins to a 10-6 record and a second place finish in the division, which, I don't know that a lot of people thought that was possible. So yes, I think he's the guy going forward. So what do they address in the draft? Heck, I don't know. You can always go O-line, D-line, and never be wrong there. I think you got to go O-line. If he's your guy, you got to go O-line.
All right.
Again, that may lead into what you were wanting to talk about.
Well, no. I mean, I did have 2 different subjects. My second subject is our good friend Urban Meyer sitting in the skybox in the watching the Clemson football squad choke, but that's another story. Here's my question. Urban Meyer, is he scouting Trevor Lawrence? Is he the new head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow? What do you got?
Oh, wow.
That has been the hot and heavy rumor.
Really? Well, here's my thing. I am pretty much, we talk about the coaching carousel. And every now and then you'll have a college coach that'll ascend to the NFL. Like the guy at Carolina right now. He was at Baylor, now he's at Carolina. Not a lot of history of success there. I think Urban Meyer is a great college coach. Great college coach, no doubt. I don't know. I mean, even Nick Saban failed at the pro level. I mean, it's such a different. You got to have. I don't know. I think he's more of a college coach guy. So maybe we need to be looking at what are those openings, and could we see an Urban Meyer, showing up on a college campus somewhere?
No,
but
I'm telling you right now, Urban Meyer will either be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Los Angeles Chargers as early as Monday morning or Tuesday.
So you think Anthony Lynn is out in San Diego?
I'm thinking there is a high possibility. Listen, I'm sure the Chargers have reached out and said, Urban, you want to come? Hey, I'm thinking he's going Jaguars 1. I mean, who would not want to coach Trevor Lawrence, right? He's the guy. He's the guy, right?
I agree. And
Herbert's the guy too.
Dude, I think Herbert, to me, okay, if I'm Urban Meyer and both those organizations come to me and say, hey, we want you to be our head coach, honestly, I'd go to San Diego because I think Justin Herbert, he's the real deal. Like, and he's got a full year already under him, and he may have a more upside, short-term upside than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is a down the road guy, but you could win with Herbert next year. The only problem is Herbert plays in the division with the Chiefs, and you got to play the Chiefs twice every year. All right.
I don't know about you, but I think there was somebody on our panel, one of us, that said Justin Herbert was the best quarterback in the draft last year.
Yeah, I think it was you. I think. Yeah.
Thank you. So, well, hey, tomorrow morning, let's check the ESPN notifications. Urban Meyer has been hired somewhere.
All right, we'll have to check that. All right, just total random thing here. Just a question to add. Is the Sunday paper, is that a thing anymore?
It is not a thing.
For real?
I know you're talking about it, the Tennessean, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Or the
just
Atlanta Journal. Like, I can't go get, like, I went to go get a Sunday paper today. Nothing. Bubkus. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it for the coupons. I'm gonna go cut some coupons out. Dude, there's no paper.
I don't think
I said, did y'all run out of papers? She goes, no, we don't have papers. She goes, it's all she goes, it's all online. I said, are the coupons online?
They are.
She did look at me a little awkwardly, but hey, I was okay. I have high self-esteem.
I think you can walk into a Kroger in Nashville, in Brentwood, in Franklin, and find a Sunday paper. I bet you a Sonic Coke on it.
Okay, all right. With the good pellet ice.
You got it.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to that. I'll check next Sunday because I went to Publix and there were no papers. I didn't go to Kroger. I went to Publix. I went to my local gas station, and now, granted, it was about 4:00 in the afternoon. So,
hey, while we're on the just shooting the breeze, and speaking of the Sonic Ice, I've got to tell you about our new Sonic Ice maker I got
for the school,
for my house.
What?
Yep.
That's an upgrade, baby. That's huge. Listen, I remember back in the day, you were a big time ice guy.
I love ice, man.
I mean, I can hear. I mean, you could. I mean, if anybody was hanging out with you, if you weren't talking, you're chomping ice. I mean,
everybody has those nervous twitches, right? I chomp on the ice. I get my money's worth out of the drink. You know, a lot of people say light ice, no ice. I say bring heavy ice.
Heavy ice.
So we have this little Sonic ice maker, and obviously it's not called Sonic Ice, but
right.
You know, the Sonic Chick-fil-A-esque ice maker.
The pellet ice is what it's called. To be
pellet ice. That's
to be specific.
Now, it's pretty good stuff.
So it's got its own water line and everything.
It has a little water filter next to it. You pour water in it.
Okay.
It just fills it up as it goes. You just got to continue to put water in it as long as that happens. And it's not in our freezer. It's just right next to our refrigerator on the counter.
That's awesome. Now, was this a recent purchase, like this year? Is this a Christmas purchase?
We'll call it a Christmas gift.
Christmas gift. I love that, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's because I hate our ice maker. I hate it. I'm almost 50 years old, and when we moved into our house, this is the first refrigerator I ever had that had water and ice in the door, and I was so excited. Okay. First time I ever used it, shot friggin' ice everywhere. I mean, listen, I can always tell when somebody has used the ice maker because there's little puddles of water all over the kitchen. I'm like, who shot a piece of ice out here and just left it to melt? I'm like, just pick it up while it's ice, and then it's not a problem. If you just leave it on the ground, it melts, okay, and it will warp the wood floors.
What?
Okay?
Does it really?
Yes.
I know the answer.
Okay, all right.
That's what my kids would be saying. Really?
Yeah. Really? Is that what happens? Look, pal. I mean, yeah, it's you have to, like, you literally have to shove the glass almost up inside the ice maker to make sure that the ice doesn't escape.
And when put your hand over it.
Yeah, it's when it comes out, man, and when it comes out, it comes out like 1,000 miles an hour. You got to be very, very careful. It scares the dog to death when it shoots out on the ground. But anyway, yeah, so very disappointed. So I'm gonna have to look into that. Pellet ice, that could be.
I did tell you that I purchased my wife a weighted blanket.
Dude, did I not tell you? I told you about that.
You told me you made the suggestion. I purchased one for her, not realizing that I could have bought one on Amazon for a lot cheaper.
Oh, I could have told you that, man.
Anyway, Googled it, got the one with the best reviews, and you know, for someone that's a cold-natured person, yeah, she's loving it.
I'm telling you, that
you know who doesn't like it? My dog. My dog hates it. She can't get under it. It's too heavy.
I know.
They can't get under
burrow. They can't burrow. They need to be able to burrow and get under. And that's I can see that being an issue. If Rosie ever got under one of those things, she'd
be trapped.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. But yeah, weighted blanket, good call. So we were a couple weeks past Christmas and that sort of thing, and as we're kind of talking about a couple of gifts here, I had an incredible, I know this is a simple gift, but it's been really awesome. And it's one of those deals where you never really think you need something until you get it, and then you use it and you're like, how did I get by without this like for so long? And I've finally made the transition. Apparently I now have house shoes, Paul. Okay. The house shoes that I have, especially now that it's winter. Yes. Okay.
I also received house shoes, and I did not realize.
Hold on, let me get mine.
Really old, man.
Yeah. Well, that's one. Somebody had a tweet the other day. It's like, hey, let me know how old you are, just in a sentence without telling me. Okay, these are my house shoes right here, dude. I'm telling you, they are the most comfortable things I've ever put on my feet, and they're warm, dude. It keeps me from having to just like wear out my socks and just wear socks if I'm just wearing socks in the house. It keeps me from having to just wear those or whatever. But you don't think you don't need house shoes. House shoes for old people. Now I understand why old people wear them. Okay, they're comfortable, they're warm. Okay, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to call anybody out. I'm not going to disparage somebody because they wear house shoes. I get it now. I understand. I totally get it. But anyway, that was a great gift that I got. I was not expecting it. Of course, did not ask for it. So that's one of those things that you don't exactly put on your Christmas list. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what I did get, Paul, because we've only had a couple of shows since Christmas because we've both been pretty busy. I got a dozen Titleist Pro V1s.
Oh wow!
Now here's the problem with that. Problem is keeping those Titleist Pro V1s. And that's going to be the greater challenge. So as of right now, I have not used them. I have not played golf since Christmas because it's been pretty rainy down here. I'm pretty sure it's kind of been that way for you too. But get back to the college game. Yesterday was a huge day for Kentucky athletics. Okay. Huge day. You started off early in the day. You had the Gator Bowl. Kentucky, despite their 150 penalty yards that they had, managed to beat NC State, make it a lot closer than it should have been. I think we can both agree on that. And then at 6 o'clock, Kentucky's basketball program, which has been much maligned here at the beginning of the year, beginning of the season, they win in double overtime on the road. Local guy, Dante Allen, Kentucky kid, hit 7 threes. Had only taken 2 shots in 7 games, and finally gets his opportunity. Hits 7 threes, scores 23 points. Cats win. The Vols take the L yesterday, Brees. I mean, they get up to number 7 in the country, and then unranked Alabama. I guess they had to go to Alabama. Was this an away game?
It was at Tennessee.
That was at Tennessee, at home. Wow. I guess Sharunas Marshallonis or whoever the foreign guy y'all got, he must not have played very well. What was his name? Vescovius. Okay. He's lost some of his games since he dyed his hair blonde.
No, listen, he's a good guy. Leave him alone. All right, let me go back to Kentucky. I've got to chirp you on a couple of things. Number one.
I'll probably agree with most of this, but go ahead.
Yeah, the great flop by the football Kentucky player where they had to give him CPR to resuscitate him was one of the greatest acting jobs in the history of college
Listen,
football.
when he got hit, he went down like a sack of potatoes and laid there. Now I'm talking. I'm mentioning this as an athletic trainer. If you see something like that, and you see an athlete that's
Face down.
face down,
Yeah.
prone, not moving, that is the worst body position that you can see an athlete in. Okay, because number one, it means they're probably unconscious. Okay, number two, there's a good possibility they're not breathing. Number three, in order for them to act like he acted, okay, we could be talking about a cervical spine injury. So first you have to flip them over onto their back, which you have to do very carefully, and you have to do it very quickly, and then you have to get access to their airway. So when he did that, first it was a massive flop anyway, and then he just kind of goes limp, and then his teammates roll him over and they start giving him. That was great. Now here's the thing: it's a little bit of karma to that, because later in the game, same dude gets blitzkrieged by his own player and has to leave the game for real.
Oh, friendly fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The guy that Tisdale, number 7, he's actually from Valdosta, plays defensive back. He came in, and I guess Eccles was holding on to another guy's jersey and got kind of spun around, and Tisdale came in and just jacked him in the side, and he went down. He actually threw up on the field. I don't know if you watched the game.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, he threw up on the field, and it was funny because the student trainer had the Gatorade. It was like squirting. There was a big pile, and it was basically just. I mean, I've had to do that before, especially if it's on turf. Okay, because you have to kind of basically squirt it until it gets absorbed into the turf, because nobody wants to play on somebody's puke.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
what was the other thing?
My second Kentucky reference. What was Calipari's record this year before yesterday? 1-6.
1-6.
Okay. He gets tossed, right? He gets ejected from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Who takes over? Do we know the person?
Bruiser Flint.
Bruiser Flint. That guy ends up playing what many Kentucky fans have been begging for, right? This one kid.
Dante Allen, yeah.
Dante Allen. Play Dante Allen. Calipari must have something against this kid, supposedly, right? Or it's just
I don't know what his problem is, but I'm going to weigh in on that. Go ahead.
He's going to be okay. Well, just say he's been in Calipari's doghouse, hasn't played a lot, but he's good enough to carry this team, I guess, or be an integral part of this team. And all of a sudden, he gets ejected. This kid comes in, scores how many Kentucky wins in overtime?
Yeah, he scored 23, led the team. 7 of 10 from 3. Paul, this kid is a Mr. Kentucky basketball. Okay?
Right.
Mr. Kentucky high school basketball. These guys, they don't just give that to anybody. Okay? Dude can flat out play. I mean, if you're Mr. Kentucky basketball, you're freaking legit. You can play ball. Okay? And fan base has been clamoring for this guy to get some playing time. Now, last year he had a knee injury, didn't get to play.
Yeah.
But and that was kind of, I don't know if they were like, I mean, he's still rehabable. He still doesn't, he's not 100%, but everybody knew, yes, this guy's 100%. He should be out there. He should be playing over these, BJ Bostons and Terrence Clark and these other guys who aren't that good and can't shoot, quite frankly. And the reason that Calipari said he didn't play him in the last game, which I believe was the Louisville game, I believe. I can't remember. All the losses just start to stack up at this point. But he said, well, I didn't get a chance to put him in the first half. So I just felt it would mess with the flow of the game in the second half if I just put him in. Paul, you're a basketball coach. If a kid doesn't play in the first half, does that mean he can't play in the second half? Is that how that works?
I don't think there's a rule about that. No.
I mean, this is not pound ball where it's like, okay, you play the first quarter and the third quarter, and this group plays the second quarter and the fourth quarter. I mean, he's the coach. He can play the kid whenever he wants to play the kid. There's not a minutes restriction. There's nothing like that. So I don't know what the heck he's talking about. It makes no sense. Here's another thing, and that you didn't mention that I thought you might. You went with the Dante Allen getting, so you said that's something that Kentucky fans have been clamoring for. There's something else that Kentucky fans that know basketball have been clamoring for, and that is for Kentucky to play a zone defense every now and then. Listen, when your guards are getting blown by and taken to the rim at will, play zone defense. Don't play keep playing man to man for 5 straight possessions when guys are getting blown by and guys having to foul them. Okay, before you're like, okay, we better switch to zone. And then when you switch to zone, you give up 1-3. You're like, oh, got to go back to man to man. I mean, that's part of Calipari's issue is he's so stubborn with the way he coaches, and he does not like playing zone, and these guys can't guard. They can't guard they can't guard perimeter guys. They can't guard the other guards. And see, that's something we've always been able to do, and we can't do it anymore. Not with this team. So you're going to see more zone, I hope, because when he got ejected, guess what happened?
Oh, wow.
2-3 zone. And it worked. So, I don't know. It's just frustrating, and glad Dante Allen got his time in the sun, got to play. And Brees, here's the thing, man. When the kid you're like, okay, here's your shot. It's hard to just like, okay, I'm out here now. I got to do something. Sometimes kids will press, and I mean that performance. Just, I mean, wow. With the amount of pressure that kid, the whole state of Kentucky was with this kid, every shot that he put up was like, come on. I mean, it was like, so he's got the support, and he's a, I think he's from like Shepherdsville or somewhere like that, a small town, Meriwether County or something. But he was the man, dude. And, just needed that win. They needed that big time. Now they play Vanderbilt at Rupp on Tuesday.
Another win.
They should win easily, especially coming off that good performance. But you never know.
All right, man.
So, yeah, that's all I got. Dude, I got to go back tomorrow.
I got to go back tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so we got our first day back tomorrow, January 4th. First day of the spring semester. We are hybrid again. You guys are all virtual. And then I've got virtual meetings all day Tuesday, and then asynchronous whatever on Wednesday. And then our first day with kids is Thursday. And you guys are, how long are y'all virtual?
Just for 1 week. And then sounds to me like they're going to do an announcement every Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
There we go.
Well, I did get some news today as well that Abby's getting the vaccine on Tuesday when she goes back.
Very good.
She has a doctor's appointment Tuesday morning, and then she'll go back. Has to go back to Augusta, and she'll get it since she's in and out of the hospital with the clinicals and stuff. So, but guys, a lot of exciting stuff coming up this next week. We'll be getting you up to date on how our weeks are going. First week back, 2021, and just stick with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Follow us on Twitter at @DThroughSports, and listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. Start 2021 with Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. We had over 100 episodes in 2020. And we hope to equal that in 2021. For Paul Brees in Brentwood, Tennessee, I'm Adam Freeman here in Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul.